And now moving to national news with no deal yet made on the debt ceiling and the upcoming legislative session coming to an end, there are some serious concerns that the U.S. will end up defaulting on its debt.
Have you ever wanted a podcast that did it all? Sports, politics, world events. Well, you have come to the right place, because you are listening to C&C Talks.
Hello, I'm Colin,
And I'm Charlie.
and this is the C&C Talks podcast. This is episode 16, season 2.
And just a reminder, as you do every week, we release every Wednesday and we talk about politics, world events, and sports. It is currently Monday, May 8th, 2023 at about 8:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, and a busy show this week as we're going to talk, obviously, about the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, some elections in the United Kingdom. But we're going to start with some news that broke over the weekend. Charlie, the one topic that we seem to keep discussing over and over and over again on this podcast is mass shootings. There was another really bad one at a mall in Allen, Texas. Let's get some more.
Yeah, and as I said after Uvalde, I said it after Buffalo, I said it after the mass shootings in California that we talked about. How many people that will it take? 100? 200? I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah,
Because until something like that happens, nothing's going to get done.
I mean, I'm not convinced that something's going to get done even if that does happen, but this one was not a 100, 200 person event. This was 8 or 9 people that ended up dying at a mall. It's notable in several other ways, though, one of which there were several children that died, grade school aged kids, and also a 3-year-old.
If you include the gunmen, it is indeed 9 fatalities.
Yeah, 9 fatalities with the gunman. Okay. The other reason that this was super notable is that, and this is something that I think we've talked about on the podcast before, about how, as bad as it sounds, it might be beneficial for us to see this, to actually see the violence. Well, we did. There are photos. I've seen them, and I've got to be honest, they will haunt me for the rest of my life. They are unbelievably tragic. We're talking about photos of people, dead people covered in sheets with blood all around them, pictures of brains oozing out down the street. I mean, it's so disturbing, Charlie.
Yeah, and this is going to keep happening. It's the sad truth. This won't stop.
Yeah, right. Where are you safe right now from a mass shooting, right? You're not safe. You're not safe at a mall. You're not safe at school.
I'll tell you where you're safe. You're safe at an NRA convention.
You're safe at an NRA convention because they ban
don't
guns.
allow guns.
They ban guns, and that is how you know that they think that guns make society less safe. They will not allow them at their own conventions, even though they say the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, this was Texas, where there are more guns per capita than anywhere else in the world. And where was the good guy with the gun? Did they show up? They show up, Charlie?
Of course they didn't.
Of course they didn't show up. And frankly, I have had it with the thoughts and prayers people, all of the Republicans in Congress, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, all of them offering their thoughts and their prayers, as if their thoughts and their prayers mean a dang thing to any one of the family members of the people that were slaughtered, who literally had their face blown off. I mean, there's an account from a first responder who said that he turned a woman around, she had no face. That's the type of damage that this type of weapon can do to somebody. And Republicans, thoughts and prayers. I offer you my thoughts and prayers. And one of them was pressed on this issue. They basically said, no, thoughts and prayers work because there is a God that's controlling everything. Well, couple of comments on that, Charlie. Okay. First of all, the thoughts and the prayers haven't seemed to do much to stop more mass shootings, right?
No, they've done nothing.
They've done nothing. And also, if there is a God, say that there is a God that's controlling everything, right? And this God is allowing for these mass shootings to happen, then I'm sorry, you worship the devil. Right?
Ain't that the truth?
That's what it is. And also, Republicans, they're voting against mental health funding. They say mental health is the problem. They're voting against the funding, right? So it's not like they actually believe in any of the other solutions that they're proposing. They're just all bought out by the NRA.
Of course they are.
So yeah, those are photos that will haunt me. It is truly, truly heartbreaking, and it is more heartbreaking to know that nothing will be done. It is not. It is genuinely not safe. And Fox News, you know what they're saying, Charlie? They're saying you should be prepared to kill everyone you meet. That's not how we should live. That's not how we should have to live. We shouldn't have to live in fear. Every child in America has had to learn the run, hide, fight, right? I mean, I had to learn that in kindergarten, right? Why is that something that we need to be teaching our children above how to do basic arithmetic, right? Children go to school to learn about math and reading and writing, not how to avoid getting shot by a gun. Right? We as a society cannot continue to live this way. We just cannot do it.
No, we can't. And more news from Texas. A car crash, or more like intentional running over of civilians in Brownsville, Texas. 8 people have been killed after a car crashed into 18 pedestrians. Not much is known on exactly what happened here, but it is interesting to see that this happened very close after what happened in Allen, obviously.
And it seems like this was potentially targeting migrants, unless I'm mistaken.
I mean, it's Texas, so I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me of one other point about this mass shooting, which is oftentimes we'll hear a lot about the demographics of the shooter, right? We'll often hear, oh, the shooter was transgender. How come we never hear when they're cisgender, right? That is just another example of more transphobia throughout the country. And how this mass shooter, by the way, white nationalist, Nazi sympathizer. Not that it really matters that much, but maybe slightly notable.
It is notable. I don't think it really matters. Whoever's doing the shooting is obviously not acceptable.
Yeah, I don't care. I couldn't actually care less. They are an awful person. And yeah, shooter now dead.
And now moving to national news, with no deal yet made on the debt ceiling and the upcoming legislative session coming to an end, there are some serious concerns that the U.S. will end up defaulting on its debt.
Yes, there definitely are, and there is potentially some actions that Biden could take unilaterally. Unclear exactly what those are. The theory of a $1 trillion coin has been floated, but seems unlikely. So lots of options for the Biden administration to consider. We'll see what route they go. Or will Congress get a deal done? Seeming more unlikely by the day, but you never know.
And we have some more news from America's favorite absolute mess, Donald Trump.
Yes, we very much do. Trump, as we all know, involved in lots of legal cases in the middle of his trial for the defamation trial of E. Jean Carroll. This news, actually, though, from the New York case where he was just indicted on the hush money case with Stormy Daniels, another woman, a doorman, where he paid hush money. The judge in that case has just issued a gag order on Trump, so he can't talk about what happened. or anything. So
And
I
that's
don't see how
interesting
he follows
because
that.
it's interesting to see, because does this benefit him? Because knowing him, he'll probably say something, he probably would have said something stupid that might have been detrimental to his case in the first place.
Also, two things. Yes, you're absolutely right. Second of all, I have a hard time believing that he's going to follow a gag order. And the gag order, in my opinion, only going to be as strong as the judge is willing to enforce it. We'll see if the judge actually has the courage to hold Trump in contempt if he violates the gag order.
And now let's move to world events on the global scale. The UK had their local elections, some of their local elections, and as expected, the Conservatives got smashed. They lost 48 of the councils. The Labour Party, which is the more left party, one of the more left parties, gained 22 seats. The Liberal Democrats
Councils,
gained
22
12.
councils.
Yeah, 22 councils. The Liberal Democrats gained 12. The Greens gained 1. The Independents lost 3. And that was the results of those elections. It is interesting to see that the Labour gained a lot in the northeast of the
Exactly.
country.
Also, surprisingly, a good election for the Liberal Democrats. The Conservatives overall losing over 1,000 seats on councils
Which
across
we did
the
we did
country.
expect them to do pretty poorly, but not this poorly.
We'll put it this way, Charlie. If it comes even close to these results in the general election, which could be in roughly 18 months, then it is over for the Conservative Party. They will be kicked out of Downing Street.
They very well could be. And in more English news, King Charles has now officially been coronated as king. And now the question then becomes, who cares?
Yeah, do I care? No, I really don't. Great. He's king. Why do we still have kings in the first place? This is a country that it doesn't call itself a democracy. But in practice, it kind of is, except for the fact that the taxpayers are still paying a bunch of money to a family who's done absolutely nothing for no one in that country. And meanwhile, people are starving out on the streets. The economy in the UK is in shambles. But hey, they're doing fine. Good for them. I don't
Yeah,
care.
as a Brit, I will say I think it is important to have the royal family there. They're a beacon that stands there, even though times are crazy. It's interesting to see that they're still there, as well as it
But
is interesting.
they're the reason for the mess, or part of it.
It is also interesting to see how the politics in the UK as well, and socially, this is a very divided issue. Some don't support what the monarchy is doing, some do, and some would like it to completely disappear.
It's
And
it's time, I gotta say, Charlie. It's time.
And finally, in the world events section, we have no news of this yet, but it is looking even more likely that Ukraine, in some very soon here, will go on that large offensive in the east, which we will see if that does succeed or not.
Yes, and now it's time to bring back something that we have not done in a long, long time on the C&C Talks podcast, Charlie. It's time for Charlie's Thing of the Week.
Yes, which has now been rebranded as Charlie's Stat of the Week. This is
Uh-huh.
it's a little bit different, but I do think it is important. So we're talking about this is a little stat for you. This is a sports statistic from the MLB. The last perfect game was on August 15th, 2012, with the Mariners at the Rays, when Felix Hernandez was allowed absolutely nothing, gaining the perfect game, while the Mariners did just enough, scoring 1 run to allow the perfect game to happen. And none have happened in the 10 years since.
Now, what's interesting, Charlie, I feel like in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of deep pitchers getting deep into games perfect, including the Mariners. In the last couple of weeks, had 4 pitchers bring a perfect game into the 6th inning, with I believe 3 of them bringing one into the 7th inning.
Yeah, which is quite impressive. However, this actually happened tonight, and the Mariners are currently down 2-0 on the Texas Rangers.
Yes, as we're taping this Monday night.
Let's move
That
on to
is
sports now.
Yeah, that's a great transition to sports. This is the C&C Talks podcast. Thanks for listening. Start with the NBA playoffs. Let's start in the East, Charlie. Let's start with that Knicks series against
Yeah,
the
I
Heat.
would define this entire playoffs as confusing. What is going on? I can't tell which teams are good and which teams are pretending.
Yeah, what Miami is doing is really impressive, just knocking off the Bucks and now up 3-1 as of this taping on the New York Knicks, who have had a tremendous season. Just a great run, and I mean, playoff Jimmy is a thing. Playoff Jimmy is very much a thing.
He indeed is. It is also interesting to see in the West that Suns Nuggets series over the weekend did not go how many people expected. A lot of people actually figured that the series could be over at this point, but the series indeed tied at 2, and mostly driven by Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But the question is, can they keep this performance going?
Yes, I do believe so. I do think that the Suns have put themselves in a great position to win this series, to make it to the NBA Finals, potentially win the finals. They are a very, very good team. They'll get Chris Paul back at some point, for better or worse. And Ayton feels like maybe he's given up on the team a little bit again. I think it was maybe a mistake to re-sign him, but Durant and Booker are very much carrying that team right now.
Oh, they absolutely are. And then the other question happens actually in the same series. What is going on with Jokic? Should he have been suspended for what happened in Game 4?
Oh, absolutely not. He ended up getting, I believe, a $25,000 fine. But let's be clear right now. If that was any other fan besides the owner of the Suns, the fan would have been ejected, and there would have been no punishment on Jokic at all
Ejected for what reason?
for grabbing onto the ball and not giving it back.
Yeah, I can see that. For those who are unaware, the ball went out of bounds late in the second quarter. The Suns owner picked it up. Jokic comes over. The owner won't give the ball up, and then Jokic ends up pushing him with an elbow.
Yes. What are your thoughts on that 76ers Celtics series that now tied at 2 games apiece?
Confusion. Is James Harden good? Is he not good?
Maybe.
Where's Embiid? What on earth happened to the Celtics in the few games that I've seen from them? Which was Game 1 and Game 4?
Yeah, no, it's been weird. And by the way, Embiid winning the MVP award. We'll talk more about awards in a couple of weeks once they're all finalized, including the all rookie team, all defense team, all NBA, all that stuff. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks once it's all finalized.
Yeah, we
And
will.
then finally, Charlie, that Lakers Warriors series.
I just really hope the Lakers win.
Why?
To spite you, Colin.
Of course you do. As we're taping this, Warriors up 9 over the Lakers.
I have them up 8.
You have them up 8. Okay, they're up 9 to me. If they blow it, I'll be very disappointed. Warriors looking to even up the series at 2 games apiece. I think though this series kind of what we expected. Some days AD showed up, some days he didn't. 2 games apiece after 4 games in the series feels also about what we expected. Would you say so, Charlie?
Yeah, but the question to me is, does it matter? Is it really whoever comes out of the East wins?
No, I have it whoever wins that Denver-Phoenix series. I think that they'll win the title.
It's weird. As I said at the beginning, I can't tell who's functional and who isn't. It's just confusing. This is such a weird playoffs.
No, you're absolutely right. That is
another
definitely
confusing
fair.
Playoffs is the NHL playoffs. The Bruins got knocked out immediately. Florida is good all of a sudden. Carolina's good. The Kraken are still in there somehow. Dallas had a Swiss cheese goalie for a game.
Yeah, so let's talk about Florida for a minute, because they were 13th in the East at near the midway point of the season, added nothing at the trade deadline, barely snuck into the playoffs. Look at them now. They beat Boston.
And have
They're up
won 6
3-0 on
straight
Toronto
playoff
because
games.
they are 9 games away from a title.
It's just nuts.
It is nuts. Yeah, Kraken Stars. What a series that's been, as the Kraken, as of this taping, lead the series 2-1. like you said, Dallas's goalie Jay Gottinger completely forgot how to play hockey Sunday night. As the Kraken win 7-2, I believe.
Yeah. So
Um,
when this episode is released, do you believe it'll be Kraken 3-1 or series that's tied at 2?
Series tied at 2.
I don't think so. I think that I still have Kraken in 5.
You have Kraken in 5. I'm sticking with Kraken in 7 in this series. But are the
I
Kraken?
think Game 3 did so much damage to the Stars. I think they're done.
Huh. Do you think that the Kraken are now legitimate contenders, as crazy as that may sound?
Yes, I think Vegas is going to pose a huge threat.
Or Edmonton. Could be either
Or
one of
Edmonton.
them.
It's not going to be Edmonton.
Not going to be Edmonton. You heard it here first.
I think it's going to be really close, but I think Las Vegas in 7.
Yeah. And then what are you feeling with that Devils Hurricanes series?
Give me Carolina.
Yeah. Kind of
I just
feeling the
like what
same
I've
way.
seen from them so far a lot more.
Yeah, I think Florida's going to come out of the East, though. I really do.
And so you have Florida and Vegas?
Yeah, I'm going to go Florida and Vegas, which means that Canada will once again not win a Stanley Cup. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Well, it depends who you ask.
And of course, we have the NHL lottery later this week as well.
And I believe that actually just happened just right before this taping. I believe that Chicago Blackhawks getting the number 1 pick in the draft.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
the Anaheim Ducks right afterwards. Columbus Blue Jackets at number 3. Charlie, let's talk about Formula 1, as there was just a race in Miami.
Yeah, F1 has a problem. The races have been incredibly boring. The Red Bulls shoot off the line, and no one's going to catch them. That's the problem.
So what do they do about it?
They can't really do anything about it. They have to wait till the 2026 regulations is my bad, unless some shakeups at Red Bull happen, or they develop a bad car. Mercedes has fallen back through the field. It's been interesting to see. Had some pretty good midfield battles. Good battle between the Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston's is really building up. I thought Haas had a really good race, with Magnussen starting all the way up into 4th, dropping down, but did manage to get 10th for a singular point. And it's really interesting to see. The McLarens had a bad strategy. What a horrible season they've had. And yeah, there's just a balance problem at the top, but a lot of the field is very close. So I think other than the race for first, this season has the potential to be really good.
Yep. And we'll end with the Kentucky Derby. Madge won the race at Churchill Downs. But the big story, Charlie, was not actually what happened in the race. What happened with a whole ton of horses being, how to put this politely,
Removed.
removed. There you go.
And then being unalived.
Sure. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. There's been a lot of weird things going on with that race in the last few years.
There really has. I mean, last year it was the or was it 2 years ago? The horse
I think it was 1 year ago, because I'm pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah, and then there was a horse that cheated, or it was the owner, I guess, cheated, or the jockey cheated.
Yeah, I don't think the horse would intentionally cheat, Colin.
Well, yeah, took steroids.
Aha!
Yeah, I don't think that was the horse's decision.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? We'll leave it with that. Thanks for listening to the C&C Talks podcast. We have episodes coming out every single Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts, so make sure you subscribe. Our website, cctalks.net, which has everything that you need to know about the show. And you can call us with your questions at 360-389-2630. Again, that's 360-389-2630. And follow us on Twitter at CC Talks Podcast. For our producer Morris, our production designer Zach, and our proof editor Drake, I'm Colin. Charlie's somewhere.
Here I am. See you next week.
Right. Yeah, see you next week. Thanks for listening.